Hi, today I'm freezing greens from the garden to use this winter to make garlicky greens and just whatever I need cooked greens in. So you want to start by picking some fresh greens out of your garden. Then you want to wash them in a big deep pan of cold water or whatever to be able to rinse them around really well. And then I like to take these stems out of the middle, and all I do is just fold the leaf in half, and you can either cut it out or pull out the big stems, so kind of have a pile of those. I don't like those in the greens. And I end up with a bowl of freshly washed greens, and then you want to bring them over to your pot of boiling water and boil them for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just enough so they're very wilty. And then I put them in a colander and drain them out really, really well. After you get your greens boiled in the water and drain them a little bit, you want to blanch them in ice cold water to stop the cooking process. So I just quickly will drain them out of the stove, and I have a bowl of ice water waiting and run cold water over it and get them kind of submerged in that ice water. Swish them around to make sure that they feel cold. And at that point, you're going to let them sit for the same amount of time that you cooked them. So if you boil them for 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes, that's how long you're going to let them soak in the cold water to blanch them. And then you go ahead and strain out the water so that they're drying. One step I find very important in these greens is not having excess water in them so they don't get freezer burnt, but also to not squeeze so much water out that they become stringy, which is something I've done in the past. So what I like to do is just very loosely kind of fluff them up in there in that colander and keep spinning it around to get as much water out as I can. And then I set them in another strainer, and I'm just going to keep kind of turning them and loosening them a little bit to see if I can get as much water out as possible before I freeze them. After you have all your greens drained and blanched and drained, then you're going to want to chop them into smaller pieces. I just chop them across and then I drain them again once they're little smaller bite-sized pieces. Okay, I'm going to vacuum seal these with my awesome food saver. I love this. If you don't have one, I'd suggest getting one if you preserve a lot of vegetables. But I've got my greens all ready, so I made a few small size bags here. And the way I figure my greens is about a small handful per person eating. So there are 3 of us, so I'm just going to take 3 kind of small handfuls in this case because I know that they make a lot. You don't eat a ton of these. So I'm going to get it in my bag. The key to this, though, is you don't want to vacuum seal it so far that all the liquid shoots out because then the bag won't seal properly. So you want to put it on moist and then you're going to let it seal. And I will usually push the seal button when I see that the liquid is starting to come out. You let it seal, and then those things are ready to go. And I've had them keep really well into early spring, just about time for the next batch of greens to be done because you can plant those really early in the spring. So I hope you freeze some of your greens to enjoy them through the winter. Thanks for watching.